Hi, welcome everyone. Today we have brought to you our first session on VMware VSphere versions. In this training program, I'm your mentor, Mr. Devanshu Shukla. I will be conducting this training on virtualization using VMware softwares. In today's topic, we are going to discuss physical servers, what are the benefits of virtualization, what all hardware resources we require in order to perform virtualization, how you can maintain high business continuity and high uptimes, how using VMware virtualization techniques, you can reduce cost and you can perform central management. So let's proceed to our topic number one, physical servers. So when it comes to physical servers, there are certain issues with physical servers. When you maintain a physical server, you have to perform a one-to-one application to server ratio. What this means is on one single server, you have to run only one application. It could be multiple applications possible if the application supports the same operating system. So now in earlier days, what happens is whenever we create a server, you can consider a server somewhat like this. You may have a very big data center, like a data center of VMware, a data center of Facebook, maybe Google. So they all use various technologies, and this is an example server. So now on this server, what you can do is you can install an operating system, which was possible earlier when virtualization technology was not available. And on one operating system, you can run certain applications. So when we consider application, you can consider a user application. Suppose there is a company, he has hosted a website. The website has been running on an operating system. The website is using certain applications like an Apache server, or it could be using services, it could be using database applications, and a lot more. So one user application can run on server, and with physical servers earlier the ratio was 1:1 application to server ratio. Now due to this, a lot of inefficiency occurred under utilization of hardware resources. So when it comes to hardware resource, you can think of a day, let's say you have a very big server, and this big server may have very high RAM. Consider I have 100 GB of RAM available. I have 10,000 TB of hard disk available. We may be having some processing units. Let's say I have a very high Intel Xeon server CPU, central processing unit, so which could perform a lot of operations. Now here what you need to consider is, let's say you are running a simple website on this server, okay? Let's say you are running a simple website, and this website only requires 1 GB of RAM. You only need 1 GB of hard disk, and you may also need only an i3 processor could even solve the resources required by this application. So now when you consider this, so this application is going to utilize the complete server, and there is going to be a very high wastage of random access memory, hard disk, and central processing unit, which we generally call as resources. So now what we need to do is we need to avoid certain situations. We have to avoid certain situations wherein we don't want inefficient usage of hardware resources which are available at the server side. Okay. Apart from hardware resources, there were various resources available, like underutilization of space, underutilization of various other applications and services was possible due to physical servers earlier. And it also made data centers sprawl. These were also the issues. Suppose your data center failed and there is a loss in some data center. So then this could also be an issue with the data center. Moreover, since, as you all know, there was only 1:1 ratio available, you can run one application on one server. So due to this, let's say if you have to run n applications, or you consider, let's say if you have to run 100 applications on 100 applications at data center, okay? Let's call it data C. So now to run 100 applications with respect to 1:1 ratio, you would be needing you would be needing minimum 100 servers, and this 100 servers would be like, let's say one server is $100, okay, which is quite more, let's say $100,000. So now the total cost which you need to pay is $100,000 into 100 machines. Okay, so this is going to be a very high cost. So due to that, what actually happens was, earlier the cost of ownership was very high, because first you need 100 servers, then to accommodate these 100 servers, you would be needing an infrastructure. Okay, you would be paying a lease for an infrastructure where 100 machines can be, 100 servers can be accommodated, and there will be various other issues. Apart from that, apart from this issue, the final issue is the data redundancy cost. So in physical servers, redundancy cost was very high. And this is because if you have one application, you have to ensure its backup. So as to ensure backup, you are going to keep a copy of one application on 4 different servers. Since one application runs on one server, so you, for one single application, you will be maintaining at least 4 machines. Okay. So suppose if you need 100 applications to run at a data center, you need 400 devices. So that is eventually going to increase the redundancy cost also. So in order to avoid such situation, there was a technology known as virtualization, which came up. And let us just quickly have a discussion on benefits of virtualization. So what are some benefits of virtualization? When it comes to virtualization, you all can observe, we have a server. This is your one physical server. Over this one physical server, you can have multiple central processing units available, or you can call physical devices, could machines running. So instead of one physical machine, we can have now multiple virtual machines. In every virtual machine, we can install a guest operating system. In this guest operating system, we can run an application. So now we can ensure 1:1 ratio with an application and machine. And n number of virtual machines can be created on this bare metal physical server. So now you can have one physical server, you can run multiple virtual machines in it, and within these virtual machines, you can run applications. So now what you can do is, you can consolidate high ratios. So what is the meaning of consolidation of high ratio? So consolidation of high ratio means now we can have n number of applications per one physical server. Okay, per one physical server. And now we can call this as n:1. Or for example, it could be, let's say if I have to run 100 applications, I could have 100 virtual machines possible with respect to the resource available, and I can have 100:1 ratio. So this is 100 applications running on one physical server. Hence we say it has a very high consolidation ratio. Now post that, the second utility is efficient use of hardware resources. Now what is the meaning of that? So this means, since you can run multiple virtual machines on one physical server, so each virtual machine will occupy certain resource. Let's say if I have 100 GB of RAM available, so I can create 100 virtual machines wherein per virtual machine can be allotted 1 GB of RAM. So if I have 100 virtual machines, now if I have 100 applications, each application wants to utilize a RAM of approximately 1 GB. So we can have an effective usage of hardware resource. Now, once you have this option, what exactly is done? Due to this efficient usage of hardware, approximately there is an increment of up to 18% usage is encountered. So if you have a physical server, you're going to have a utilization of maximum 20 to 30%. On a physical server, the utilization is maximum 20 to 30%. But when it comes to cloud virtualization technique, you can utilize the hardware resources up to 80%. So that draws a lot of benefits for you. Now, post that, we have the next option. And the next option says business continuity and high uptimes. Now, what do we mean by business continuity and high uptimes? With the usage of virtual machines, now Earlier, when we talk about older IT days, the possibility of 5-9 uptime was very complex and merely impossible. And merely impossible. But with respect to the new virtualization techniques available, we can actually utilize uptimes and business continuity up to 99.99%. So what exactly is 5.9? So 5.9 is something known as 99.999%, which means there could be an off time of maximum of 5 minutes per year. Okay, so that is a big deal. So if with virtualization technique, what you can do is you can achieve higher virtualization. With virtualization, you can get high uptime, and in any year, the minimum or the maximum off time possible is 5 minutes per year. So that is something a big deal which can be achieved with virtualization. Now, since you guys can run multiple virtual machines on one single server. So you can see that these are the 3 virtual machines, and you can actually run these 3 virtual machines within one server only. And this is this machines. So now you can have n number of applications. Eventually, to handle 100 applications, you can use one physical server. Earlier in older IT days, if you have to hold 100 applications, you need 100 devices or 100 servers. But now all these 100 applications can run on one single machine. So what is the benefit? The benefit is the total cost of ownership gets reduced. The total cost of ownership is actually calculated with certain aspects. It could be hardware cost. So hardware cost will eventually reduce. Now to maintain this hardware, we need to have cooling available. So cooling cost will be maintained. The energy required to run these 100 servers will also reduce because we only have one physical hardware at the moment. Then the maintenance cost to maintain this will also be reduced, because to maintain 100 servers, let's say you need 5 people, and per person, one person can maintain up to 20 servers. So we would be needing 5 people. But when it comes to a one single physical server or up to 5 physical servers in a data center, only one person is capable of processing it. One person is capable of handling it. So these are the things with which you can reduce the cost of the ownership when you use virtualization. Now, once you're done with that, the final point is central point of management. So now consider you have one virtual machine available, and what best you can do, I will show you an example. So let's say if I would like to go to Putty, I'll open a connection to my server, and I would like to quickly show you how you can make a central point management. You can maintain multiple servers from a single window or from a single console. Now, I would like to give you an example. So let's say I have got this operating system. I'm to get access to my server. So when I get access to my server, I've directly logged into my server, and here is the server access available. Now you can see that this is my virtual machine which is running, and I can operate this virtual machine from anywhere in the world, and this can help me manage all my applications running on a server, and all my virtual machines can also be managed using this. So with one of the best benefits of virtualization is you can have central point of management. So these are some of the very important techniques which you guys need to know when it comes to VMware vSphere. Now I would like to show you how VMware vSphere works and what are the other benefits of using VMware vSphere. So virtualization achieves high server consolidation ratios by allowing multiple guest operating systems to share the same physical resource. Now you can observe, so we have a bare metal server available. You can consider this server as a bare metal server. Now over this bare metal server, we can have multiple virtual machines. So this is virtual machine 1. You can consider it as a CPU. This is virtual machine 2. This is virtual machine 3. And this is virtual machine 4. And on every virtual machine, what we can have is, we can have an operating system. So this is OS 1, OS 2, OS 3, and OS 4. And like this, there can be n number of operating systems possible. So this is how we can maintain higher consolidation rate. So now consider this is one server, okay? Consider this is one specific server. On this server, I can have multiple applications or application for one user, or one single user application can also work, which may be utilizing a lot of tools and softwares at the back, which all of them can be installed on this Windows operating system. So now this could be one. And similar to this user application, we can have an application stored on one physical server. So this n apps can be running on one specific server. And why these n apps? Because we have one server, two server, third server, and you can consider n number of servers are available on this physical server. So now the consolidation ratio, the consolidation of the application is very high here, because you have n number of applications with respect to resource utilization, and you can run all of them on one single server. So that draws a lot of availability and a lot of benefits for you. Now, post that, let's proceed to the next topic in sequence. So here, once you're done with virtualization, now you need to understand how resources are utilized in a good way. So sharing a single physical server with multiple operating system allows for a more efficient use of resources. As you all can see, in case if we had a big server and we were running only one application. So if you're running one application can max, as well as an application can utilize a RAM up to 20 to 30%. And this is how, let's say, suppose you have a Xeon processor, suppose that you have 100 GB of RAM and you have 10 TB of hard disk, okay? But it may be possible the application may not require that. Application would only need 20 to 30% of the Xeon, 20 to 30% of the GB, 20 of RAM, 20 to 30% of space. So now when we implement virtualization, what we can do is we can increase the utility of these servers up to 80%. And this is because on one single physical server, you guys will be having multiple virtual machines available. So you can consider that at the very bottom here, we have this bare metal physical server. This is the physical server. Over this physical server, we are running multiple virtual machines. Each machine is utilizing RAM, CPU, and your storage space. So now the utilization has increased to 80% because every application will take certain utilization. And since every application can utilize up to 20 to 30% of whatever the resource is being used, so you can have a lot of benefits. So you are going to have high consolidation rate, as well as the utilization of resources will be very efficient. So post that, once you guys are done with that, let's have a look how data uptimes, how high uptimes is business continuity can be maintained. So it could be possible on a data center, there could be a fire and all the machines could go drop. So you can have, like, let's say only 5 machines have been dropped and you have a couple of other machines, backup machines running, so you can save it. So virtualization greatly reduces the burden of maintaining high uptimes and business continuity implementation. So VMware has certain features like high availability. VMware has distributed resource scheduler. VMware has fault tolerance and site recovery manager. So these are the 4 very important things which you need to have in order to maintain business continuity and high uptimes. And now, as you already know, if you use VMware, you can have a high uptime of 5.9, which is 99.99%, which means per year, you can experience an off time of maximum 5 minutes. Okay, so that's a great deal to achieve. And with virtualizations, this can be achieved. So as you all got to know that you can have a high uptime, you can have business continuity if you're using VMware Cloud vSphere. Now, post that, we have consolidated several other costs. As I have told you, with virtualization, you can reduce the cost. So, since you will be having less number of central processing units, less number of virtual servers. So, initially, on a physical server, if you all can see, earlier we had multiple servers, but now what we can do is we can reduce these multiple servers into one single server, and we can run a number of applications on this. Now, this is going to save energy cost for you. This is going to reduce the cooling cost because you are going to have less number of machines, so you need to have less number of chillers. Since the number of machines is less number of people, less number of maintenance, less number of management would be required. So if you consider per person availability on a number of n machines, so if the value of n increases, the number of availability requirement of the people will also decrease. Hence, we call there is a lower management cost. And once the number of devices are less, so you can see that you're going to take less infrastructure, you're going to get less hardware, which is going to reduce the capital outlay, the money which you want to invest on buying this hardware. So if you can have virtualization, you can reduce the amount of money you need to pay to purchase the hardware. As well as you can reduce the cost for space and infrastructure which is required to maintain servers where virtualization can be implemented. So this is a very nice technology, virtualization, which has been improved, which has been available, and a lot of benefits to the owner, a lot of benefits in data redundancy, a lot of benefits in maintaining the cloud servers is possible. So one such product is VMware VSphere 6, which you guys can utilize. Now, here VMware also offers a Vcenter server. So this Vcenter server, what it does, this Vcenter server is capable of maintaining the centralized environment. So you can manage all the virtual machines from a single interface. That is the best part. As well as you can centralize control over migration among hosts. So what you can do is you can migrate a virtual machine from one data center to other data center, from one side of the data center to the other side of the data center, as well as statically you can monitor your servers and virtual machines. You can control updates, you can control patch management in case if you got a bug. So with one single interface, you will be able to communicate all the servers available, all the virtual servers available, as well as you can maintain all your virtual machines and the applications which are installed on. So these are some of the highlights for our VMware vSphere 6 session. I hope you guys got a lot of knowledge about VMware vSphere 6. As soon as we progress further in the session, we are going to perform a lot of practical implementations so that you will get to know about VMware vSphere Cloud in a very high way. Then you can take your next part towards network. You can take your next part towards cloud and virtualization, and you can get a VMware certified professional certification. Now, since you guys have learned, I would like to give you a quick review of what all we have learned, as well as then we will proceed to the examination so that you guys are ready, that how you can recall the questions, how you can learn it better. And once you guys learn it better, once you're ready to solve the questions and answers, you may feel like that, yes, you know VMware Cloud very well. So just to get back, issues with physical servers, you have 1:1 application to server ratio, inefficient use of hardware resources, underutilization of resources, data center sprawl, which means any fire can come out, data center may fall, there could be any malicious or mishappening, any disaster can happen in the data where your data center may lose, high total cost of ownership, high redundancy cost. So these were some of the big issues which actually declared physical servers as a bad option. Okay. So the physical servers have these issues. To overcome these issues, we have got a new technology available, and this technology was virtualization. So now I'll take you to the virtualization technology. Some of the benefits, you have high consolidation rate, which means n:1 application to server ratio. You have efficient use of hardware resources. You have business continuity and high uptimes, up to 80% high uptimes you have. You have got reduced total cost of ownership due to less energy, less cost, less manpower, less maintenance. A single point maintenance server is available. So this is how, these are the benefits of virtualization. Now, post that, as you guys know, virtualization achieves higher server consolidation ratios by allowing multiple guest operating systems, which is 1:n. Post that, since it works well on CPU utilization and RAM and storage utilization, so you can see that after usage of your virtualization techniques, you can actually scale up to 80%. So the effective resource utilization of the server will be 80% once you, and after virtualization, you can have multiple VMwares running. Now, there is one more thing to ask. What is the software which is actually providing this virtualization? So VMware Hypervisor is the software which actually is installed over the bare metal server. So once you install that over a bare metal server, you can run So with this, you have got the effective usage of services and resources available. So you can use that post virtualization. You can have an effective storage of 80% and above, as well as you can use this software, VMware Hypervisor, over which you can install over bare metal server and can run multiple virtual machines, virtual servers on it. So this is something very important which you guys need to know. Now post that, once you guys are done with that, you'll see the next option. So here you can see that it reduces the burden of high uptimes and business continuity. And in order to ensure that it offers you high availability, distributed resource scheduler, fault tolerance, and site recovery manager. Make sure you guys are understanding these key points because they will be asked in the test which is conducted. Post that, we have got the next option, wherein virtualization allows you to consolidate several services into a single physical server. And what it does, it reduces energy costs, reduces cooling costs, lower the maintenance costs, lower management costs, less initial capital outlay for hardware, less space and infrastructure required. So these are some of the options with which you can reduce the cost. And finally, we have a Vcenter server, and this Vcenter server is capable of managing the virtual server and all its virtual machines using a single environment. Okay. So now what it can do, it can offer you, it manage all virtual machines from a single interface. You can centralize control over migration among hosts from one side of the data center to the other side. You can maintain statistics, monitoring of servers and virtual machines, and you can control, patch, and update management of VMware software. So that's where VMware VSphere 6 is used and utilized. And let's see how we are going to perform over the test conducted. So for test, we have certain basic questions available for you all to answer. And those of you who are watching this video can answer under the comment section. Make sure you answer these questions on the comment section before we answer, so that you will ensure that you guys know the right thing. And once you type that in comment, we will be notified that yes, you are doing some good work, and we will be bringing out a lot of offers for you for VMware Certified Cloud Professional Certification, which can actually draw a lot of value in the corporate professionals. So the first question says, which statements about total cost of ownership and centralized management are true of using vSphere. So as you all got to know, we got to know that cost of ownership and centralized management is maintained when you implement virtualization. So what could be the right answer? So these are the options. When you use virtualization, cost of ownership reduces. And as you all know, cost of ownership will reduce. We will discuss all the points. Increase energy cost. Energy cost will not increase. Less initial capital outlay of hardware. Yes, that is going to be a right response. Then you have lower maintenance. Yes, we are going to have lower maintenance. Higher management costs. No, management costs will also be reduced. Less space and infrastructure required. Right, we need. And reduced cooling costs. So these are the right responses, and these two are the wrong responses. Now, once you got to know that, let's try that out. So to try that out, this is not the correct one. Less initial capacity, lower maintenance, less space and infrastructure required, reduced cooling costs. These are the two options when it comes to virtualization when you use vSphere. So vSphere is the virtual server software using which you can perform virtualization on cloud servers. So once we do that, I'm going to quickly put done, and you can see that that's the correct response. We go to the next question. This question asks which problems with physical servers lead to the need of virtualization. So now here you have to answer the issues of virtual servers. So the issues of virtual servers. Virtual servers has high redundancy costs because you have multiple machines and you have to perform a lot of backup. Difficulty customizing, no, that's not an issue. Unreliable for web hosting, not an issue. High total cost of ownership, yes. More machines, more infrastructure, more energy, more cooling costs would be required. CPU resources, RAM resources are underutilized for sure. Data center sprawl, data center can go, wane, fire could catch him, and inefficient use of hardware resources, 100%. So these are the following options which are correct. Difficulty in customizing is not an option because everything is automated, software operated, so that won't be an issue. As well as unreliable for web hosting services, not at all. This is absolutely incorrect. So you can quickly click on done, and the answer is correct. So we'll go to the next question. What VMware technologies enable business continuity and high uptime benefits? So now we have to identify what are the benefits which can maintain business continuity and high uptime benefits. So in order to do that, you all can see instant core technology, no. Desktop virtualization, no. Distributed resources, yes. So since the resources will be distributed among various different machines, so that will definitely draw you high business continuity. Fault tolerance will maintain high uptime. High availability will maintain high uptime. And we do have a site recovery manager. So all these are the four options which ensure business continuity and high uptime benefits when you use VMware technology. Let's click on done. So this is the right response. We'll go to the next question. In this next question, what are the benefits of using server virtualization? So when you use server virtualization, what will be the benefits? Let's have a look. So more accessible RAM? No, that's not true. Central point of management? Yes, we can maintain that through a central window. Efficient use of hardware resources. Easy to identify root causes? That's not true. High consolidation rates? Yes, we can have any 2:1 application to service or server ratio. That means it's a high consolidation ratio. Followed by, we have business continuity and high uptimes. And definitely the cost of ownership is going to reduce because with virtualization, we can ensure less number of machines, less number of energy costs, less number of management costs, maintenance costs, and everything will be reduced. Hence, you will have a reduced total cost of ownership. So guys, that's it. We are done. And that's correct. So we have got all four options correct. We'll go to the final question. The final question says, virtualization achieves higher consolidation ratios by allowing multiple guest operating systems share the same physical resources. What level of utilization can virtual implementation achieve? So when you use physical hardware, it uses 20 to 30%. Always it cannot be 100% because it's not mandatory that all the servers will be full with applications and all the resources will be acquired. Otherwise, it will hang. So Both of these options are incorrect. The correct response is up to 80%. So once you have got to know about the right virtualization technique and it maintains higher consolidation ratio, we click on done. So now you see we have got the right response. So once we do that, you have got a final score of 100%. So guys, congratulations to all of you. You have got an appropriate score of 100%. And I'm sure that you guys will be able to clear lesson 1 of virtualization VMware vSphere technology. Let me just quickly take you to the details. So we have already started that. Let's go for the completion status. Okay. So we have already done that. Okay, you have got 100% score. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching the session. Do visit our website, acquither.in, where you're going to get a lot of information about how we run technology, how a lot of application development techniques, virtualization techniques, and every other thing you guys can learn. So here is our official handle. You can reach out to us on acquither.in. On this website, once you load up, you can have access to a lot of IT courses which we are running. We have approximately 3,000 plus IT courses, but a couple of courses which you can quickly get access to is deep learning, data analytics using Python, Python programming, cloud computing, virtualization, AWS, VMware vSphere, Java, building dynamic websites, cybersecurity. So we do have a pool of courses. Now you can quickly reach out to us at our office, Acquither Rohini, Acquither Noida, Acquither Canada. We're one of the highest rated companies with 1,123 reviews with 4.6 star rating, as well as when you learn on YouTube. If you got a question, please don't ask your questions in comments because it is difficult for us to quickly follow the comments every day. Instead, you can come to our website. You can open Talk to Mentor. You can specify your queries. You can start a chat with the mentor, and a live mentor will help you out. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I will be bringing a lot of such videos shortly on your YouTube channel. You will be able to follow all these technologies on YouTube. And once you guys are done, prepare for the test, get certified, add a lot of value to you. Because in corporate, if you have to increase your salary, if you are a fresher and if you want to start from a 12 LPA or 15 LPA or 20 LPA package, then if you hold good certifications, some high level certifications, then it is going to be best for you. So thank you so much for being available. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you shortly in the next session. Thank you so much.